I used to think a pixie cut was the easy way out. Then I watched 3 different friends walk out of the salon in tears because easy turned into aging real fast. If you're over 60 and thinking about going short, or you already did and something feels off, this is for you. There are specific ways a pixie cut can work against a mature face, and most women don't find out until they're staring in the mirror wondering why they look tired instead of chic. I researched the worst style and beauty mistakes and the best fixes for women over 60, so you get real results fast. If you haven't already, hit subscribe. I cover this every week. Part 1. The cut that's too short everywhere. Here's the part almost nobody tells you when you're booking a pixie cut consultation. The shorter the hair, the more the scalp shows through. And the more the scalp shows through, the older the whole head reads, even if the face underneath hasn't changed a bit. Most women think shorter automatically means fresher, more youthful, more done. It's the opposite past a certain length. Once the hair drops below about 1.5 inches all over, the scalp starts peeking through under bright light, especially at the crown, and that thinning on top look is exactly the signal our eyes read as older, tired, unwell even. It's not the wrinkles doing that work. It's the see-through hair. I watched this happen to a woman named Rosalind at her regular cut. She'd been getting the same pixie for 4 years, same length every 6 weeks, no changes. But hair thins as we age even when we're not doing anything wrong. And a length that worked at 58 stopped working at 63. Nobody told her the cut needed to evolve with her hair density. She just kept booking the usual. The fix is simple to ask for, and it changes everything. Request graduated length, not uniform length. Tell your stylist, I want more length left on top, at least 2 to 2.5 inches, tapering shorter only at the nape and sides. This does 2 things. It gives the top enough length to create lift and movement, which covers the scalp naturally instead of exposing it. And it keeps the sides and back neat and short, which is what actually reads as polished and intentional. You are not going longer. You are redistributing where the length lives. Ask specifically for what stylists call weight left in the interior. That phrase matters because pixie cut alone tells a stylist almost nothing about how much length to actually leave. Weight left in the interior means the scalp level layers underneath are cut shorter than the top layer. So when the top layer falls, it has somewhere to land and something to cover. Without that instruction, a lot of stylists default to cutting everything close and even, because that's the fastest, cleanest looking cut in the chair. It just doesn't hold up under real-world lighting once you're home. Rosalind went back in and used that exact phrase. 2.5 inches on top, tapered down at the sides. The difference wasn't subtle. Her hairdresser actually said out loud, "Oh, that's so much better on you," which is the kind of thing stylists don't usually say unless they mean it. Rosalind told me she stopped avoiding overhead lighting in restaurants after that cut. That's the real marker of this fix working. It's not about the cut looking good in the mirror at the salon. It's about you stopping the instinct to duck under bright light, because you're worried about your scalp showing. The before and after here is stark once you see it side by side. Before, a uniform, all-over short pixie with visible scalp at the crown under any bright light, reading tired and thin no matter how healthy the hair actually is. After, the same length family, same short hair silhouette, but with 2 to 2.5 inches of graduated length left on top, full coverage at the crown, and a noticeably fuller, more finished look from every angle. But length distribution is only half the story, because there's a second mistake stacked right on top of this one. And it's the one that quietly undoes a perfectly good pixie before it even gets a chance to grow out. Part 2. The blunt fringe that hardens your whole face. This one is sneaky because it looks intentional in the chair. A crisp, straight across, blunt fringe on a pixie cut photographs beautifully on a 25-year-old model. On a mature face, that same hard straight line does something almost nobody expects. It draws attention directly to every line on the forehead by giving your eye a flat, static edge to compare them against. Skin changes texture and tone as we age, and a stick-straight fringe line sits right at the exact spot where forehead lines are most visible, creating a harsh contrast between smooth-edged hair and textured skin. It's not that the fringe causes wrinkles. It's that it frames them like a picture frame frames a photo, pulling the eye straight to them instead of past them. A woman named Colette came to me after exactly this happened. She'd asked for bangs like I had in my 20s, without realizing the request itself was the problem. Her stylist gave her precisely what she asked for: a clean, blunt, straight line. She left the salon loving it. 3 days later, under her kitchen lighting, she told me it was the first time she'd really noticed how deep her forehead lines had gotten. And it wasn't because the lines had changed. The fringe had just started framing them differently. The fix isn't to avoid a fringe altogether. It's to change the shape of the edge. Ask for a soft, piece-wide curtain fringe instead of a blunt one. Say it exactly like this to your stylist: I want the fringe parted and swept, longer at the outer corners, shorter toward the center, with the ends texturized so there's no hard line. This creates a fringe that frames the face in soft, uneven pieces rather than one flat edge. And soft, broken lines don't compete with the texture already present in mature skin. They blend with it instead of contrasting against it. There's a specific technical term worth knowing here too: point cutting. This is where the stylist cuts into the ends of the fringe at an angle rather than straight across, which breaks up the line and softens the whole effect without shortening the overall length. If your stylist hasn't mentioned point cutting when you ask about a fringe, bring it up directly. It's a 5-minute technique that changes the entire read of the face. Colette went back for a correction 2 weeks later, and this time she used the exact phrasing about a swept, texturized fringe with point cutting at the ends. She told me the difference felt almost unfair, like she'd been fighting her own face for 2 weeks over something a 5-minute fix solved. Her daughter, who hadn't said anything about the first fringe, told her unprompted that the new one looked so much softer, which is the kind of comment that tells you the first version really was working against her, even if nobody wanted to say it out loud. Before, a hard, blunt, straight-across fringe sitting right at brow level, creating a stark contrast line against forehead texture. After, a soft, swept piece-wide curtain fringe with texturized, point-cut ends, longer at the outer corners, blending naturally with the skin instead of framing it harshly. Once the fringe is softened, there's still one more place a pixie can quietly go wrong. And it's the one that has almost nothing to do with cutting technique, and everything to do with what happens between salon visits. Part 3. Letting it grow out shapeless. Here's the truth about pixie cuts nobody says out loud at the salon. A pixie is not a cut, it's a maintenance schedule. The cut itself might last one appointment. The shape holding up depends entirely on what happens in the 5 or 6 weeks after you leave the chair, and most women dramatically underestimate how fast a pixie loses its structure. A longer style can grow out for 2 or 3 months and still look intentional, just longer. A pixie starts losing its defined shape within about 3 weeks, because the whole style depends on short, precise lines. And those lines are the first thing to blur as hair grows even slightly. What was crisp and architectural at week 1 starts looking soft and directionless by week 4. Not because anything went wrong, but because nothing was done to manage the regrowth in between. A woman named Diane learned this the expensive way. She loved her pixie for the first 2 weeks, felt confident, felt done. By week 5, she told me she genuinely couldn't figure out why it looked off again, since she hadn't touched it. She assumed the cut had been wrong from the start, and almost went back to growing her hair out entirely over a maintenance issue, not a cut issue. The fix has 2 parts, and both matter. First, book a shape maintenance appointment, not a full cut, at the 3 to 4 week mark. Tell the front desk exactly that phrase. I need a shape maintenance appointment for my pixie, not a full cut. This is typically a shorter, less expensive appointment where the stylist only cleans up the nape, sideburns, and any spots where regrowth is blurring the line, without touching the overall length or shape you already like. Second, ask your stylist to show you in the chair how to use a small amount of texturizing paste or pomade at the crown between appointments. This single step keeps the top piece looking intentional and separated even as the underlying length shifts slightly week to week. This is the difference between a pixie that works for 2 weeks and one that works for the full 2 months between full cuts. The shape maintenance appointment handles the structural side. The at-home texturizing handles the daily side. Together, they mean you're never caught in that awkward stretch where the cut has lost its edge, but isn't long enough yet to look like anything else. Diane started the 4-week shape maintenance schedule, along with the crown texturizing routine. And she told me it was the first time a pixie had ever made it to the next full cut still looking like the version she'd originally loved. She said something I think about often. She'd spent years assuming Pixies just didn't last on her hair type, when really, nobody had ever told her they needed a mid-cycle touch-up at all. Before, a Pixie that looked sharp for 2 weeks and shapeless, soft, and directionless by week 4, with no plan in between cuts. After, crisp structure maintained continuously through a scheduled shape maintenance appointment and simple at-home crown texturizing, holding its definition all the way to the next full appointment. There's one more mistake left, and it's the one that has nothing to do with the cutting or the maintenance at all. It's about the very first conversation you have before the scissors ever come out. Part 4. Skipping the face shape conversation. This is the mistake that happens before a single strand gets cut, and it's the reason 2 women can ask for the exact same Pixie and walk out with completely different results. A Pixie is one of the most face shape dependent cuts there is, because there's so little hair left to soften or balance out the bone structure underneath. With longer styles, length itself does a lot of the balancing work. With a Pixie, the cut has almost nothing to hide behind, which means the shape of the cut has to be chosen specifically for the shape of your face, not pulled from a photo of someone else. Most women walk into a Pixie consultation with a picture on their phone of a cut they love on another woman, and most stylists, understandably, try to recreate that exact picture rather than translate it. The result can look stunning on the original woman and slightly off on you. Not because the execution was bad, but because her face shape and yours are asking for different proportions in the same haircut. I think about a viewer who wrote in describing almost this exact scenario without naming herself. And it's such a common story I want to walk through it plainly. She brought in a photo of a cut she loved. Her stylist recreated it closely. She went home and felt like something was subtly wrong, but couldn't articulate what. What was missing wasn't the execution. It was a conversation about her specific bone structure that never happened before the cutting started. The fix is a single question you ask before the first cut, not after. Ask your stylist directly. Given my face shape, where should this cut have more height or more width to actually balance my features, rather than matching the reference photo exactly? This one question shifts the entire appointment from copying a picture to designing a cut for your actual face. A stylist who knows what they're doing will immediately start talking about where volume needs to sit relative to your jawline, your cheekbones, your forehead width, and will adjust the reference photo's proportions accordingly instead of replicating them exactly. For rounder faces, this usually means more height at the crown and less width at the sides, to elongate rather than add roundness. For longer or narrower faces, it often means the opposite, more width and softness at the sides, less height on top, to balance rather than lengthen further. None of this requires you to know the technical terms yourself. It just requires you to ask the question out loud instead of assuming the reference photo will translate automatically. This is the fix that makes every other fix in this video actually land the way it's supposed to. Graduated length, a soft fringe, a solid maintenance routine. All of it sits on top of a foundational shape that has to be right for your face first. Skip this conversation, and you can do everything else perfectly and still end up with a cut that photographs well on someone else's face shape rather than yours. Before, a Pixie cut copied directly from a reference photo without any adjustment for individual face shape, technically well executed but subtly imbalanced on her specific features. After, the same general Pixie concept, adjusted in height and width specifically for her face shape following one direct conversation before the first cut, reading as balanced and clearly designed for her. So here's where you land now. You know to ask for graduated length instead of an all-over short cut, a soft swept fringe instead of a blunt one, a shape maintenance schedule instead of letting it grow out unmanaged, and a real conversation about your face shape before the first cut ever happens. That's not 4 separate tips. That's the entire difference between a Pixie that ages you and one that makes people ask who's doing your hair now. Which of these 4 is the one you wish someone had told you before your last cut? Tell me in the comments. I read every one. Next week I'm walking through the exact salon phrasing for fixing thinning hair at the crown without cutting it shorter. Like this video, subscribe to Timeless Wisdom Path, and I'll see you in the next one.